He also told them a parable. Can a blind person guide a blind person? We will both fall into a pit. A disciple is not above the teacher, but everyone who is fully qualified will be like the teacher. Why do you seek the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye? Or how can you say to your neighbor, "Friend, let me take out the speck in your eye," when you yourself do not see the log in your own eye? You hypocrite! First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. No good tree bears bad fruit, nor again does a bad tree bear good fruit. For each tree is known by its own fruit. Figs are not gathered by thorns, nor are grapes picked from a bramble bush. The good person out of the good treasure of the heart produces good, and the evil person out of evil treasure produces evil. For it is out of the abundance of the heart that the mouth speaks.
Can a blind person lead another blind person? Definitely the answer should be a quick no. And so Jesus actually asked this in a rhetorical way, and he of course means this in a spiritual sense, not necessarily a blind physical blindness. But you see, Jesus asked this from his disciples and the people around him because he is seeing people judging each other, hypocrisy everywhere. But he sees it also in the spiritual sense as daily we ask people for advice. Daily we give people advice. We give judgment. And those two things are actually good and necessary in order to live a happy life. We need to ask for advice when we need advice, and we need to give advice when we see that people need advice. However, what Jesus wants us to do is to live a life that is worthy and experience with wisdom to be able to give advice. And how do we do that? Well, he says, first, take the log out of your own eye. And so what does that mean? Well, how does one even take out a log out of his own eye? So you and I have many faults. You and I have many sins. And it's not a matter of me or a priest or other elders judging you, but it's you are judging yourself. You are judging yourself in a good way, not to bring yourself down or to lower your own self-esteem or your own worth, but to put yourself in a perspective of humility. That's the goal. That's the solution. Humble yourself. And in the next few lines, he says, a student is never greater than one's master, or a student is never greater than one's teacher. But with proper instruction, with proper upbringing, that student can be great. So you see, he does give the solution. But the beginning of that solution, the beginning of the process of becoming better, of getting rid of our faults, working out our sins, is humility. By humility, we accept our faults and we move towards progress. We move towards holiness. I'm sitting beside St. Joseph's statue here, a man of true humility. He had many plans in his life, and he had plans of having children, many children, marrying the most beautiful girl in the town, Our Lady, of course, Mary. And yet, As a leader, he was right at the beginning of his marriage, he was asked to be humble. He was asked to be led. And even though he made decisions right at the beginning, he was reminded by the angel that God's the one leading. Can he humble himself to trust in the Lord? And he did. A man of humility. And out of his humility, he led the Holy Family. So you and I are asked to do the same. Wherever we are in our lives, whatever our plans are, whatever we are seeking advice for, well, the first step is this: humble yourself. In that humility, you can move towards your goals in a better way. And also, if you are giving advice, also humble yourself, knowing that you yourself might be struggling with this. And then you put yourself in the shoes of guide, of counselor, rather than judge. And the next few lines, our reading talks about the tree and the fruit, and that no bad tree bears good fruit, and no good tree bears bad fruit. Well, you see, how does a tree grow? It grows, and it grows on good soil. And as it is growing, it is either a good tree in its growth, in its progress, in time, in its own nourishment, and its surrounding, or it is a bad tree because of bad soil, maybe bad environment, maybe bad nourishment in terms of watering and food. And so, where are you? Are you a good tree? Have you surrounded yourself with humble people, with good people around you, with good influence to nourish you, and so that you might grow to be a good tree, so that you will bear fruit? Humble yourself in this time of Lent that we are entering. And in our humility, I hope that we can pray for help from God, who is perfect, and He can guide us towards living a holy life. God bless you this Lent.